Sure, what's this all about? Tell my viewers what the rally is all about. I mean, we know that, you know.
The rally is about education and awareness. This is CSEC Awareness Week. CSEC stands for Commercially Sexually Exploited Children, and it's a huge, huge problem. Oakland is actually one of the biggest hubs in the nation. Children are bought and sold every day, right out in daylight. And if you just keep going down International, you can see kids everywhere. Yeah, it's called the track. There's about a 40-block stretch.
So we're in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're really trying to raise awareness, and we're having a fundraiser tomorrow, and part of that includes a silent art auction. The art is done by survivors, and also we have Rachel Lloyd, who's the founder of GEMS, a similar organization to Missy in New York.
What time is it tomorrow, fundraiser?
It's from 5 to 11, and it's at 27th and Broadway at Z's Cafe.
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'm really glad you brought me to this snack.
Do you want me to hold that for you?
We get a shot of you guys' signs. Let's see.
Okay. How you doing?
Hey Carmel, so tell my viewers about this problem. I mean, how did it start? What's going on?
You know, I'm really new to it. I've seen it. You know how
you actually seen it along here?
Well, I lived in the Fruitvale area. And see it along, and just like with a lot of the people, you like, okay, what should I do? Should I say something? You know, and it's just gotten really bad now. So I've watched a lot of documentaries on YouTube and documentaries on Showtime, and you know, becoming more familiar with it. I did the domestic violence walk, and that's when I heard about Missy, an organization that helps these girls directly work with them. And so I'm involved currently in their volunteer program and training, and it's just really bad, you know, and it's sad. And it's sad to know in the training they talked about how the girls are being re-victimized, you know, by everyone, you know, and it's just sad, and it needs to be a break somewhere. They need to know that they're somewhere safe, that somebody's not going to re-victimize them, not going to rape them or exploit them, you know, and there's hope. I want to be here to show them that there is hope, there's opportunity, you can love yourself, you can make it, and as long as there's people there to help you, you can make it, they can make it, and they need to know that and believe it, because it's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to believe it and go forward with it. So I want to play a part of it, because I have nieces and I have friends who have, have young, children and daughters and stuff, and we got to protect them. We got to protect them.
So say that one more time.
So that when I got here, the rally starts at 11. When I got here at 10:30, there was a prostitute standing right
over here?
Right here on the corner.
Right over there?
Right there on the corner.
Wow.
A young woman standing right there on the corner, and then there was two other girls that walked by. But it was just like, wow, really? Really? Wow. And it's just like, she stayed for a minute until she started seeing, some other people, she probably got nervous and walked away, and so as people were coming, I wasn't so much concerned about the people who was coming. I was like, okay, well, where did she go?
Yeah.
Where's she at now? Because that's where she was standing at, right at our meeting place.
Officer Tracy, you're the area captain here.
Yes.
Give my viewers a picture of what's going on. How did Oakland come to this?
Well, it's not just Oakland. It's San Francisco. Vallejo is seeing issues with prostitution, so it's not an isolated incident for us or isolated problem for Oakland. But I think the difference is we're taking it very seriously. We're approaching this from not only law enforcement perspective, from intervention and education, getting parents involved. As you can see out here today, many neighborhood and community members have come out and say, no, we're not going to tolerate this anymore. The issue.
Someone told me they just saw a prostitute over the other side of the street at 10:30.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right, and we can't have that in broad daylight, especially with nearby schools where kids can see some of these things going on, and kids coming out to the streets and the alleys to play and finding condoms. It's just unacceptable. So as far as Oakland, we do see a spike in the younger kids, right? So from 12 to 16 years old, when they're vulnerable and they should be thinking about junior prom and senior balls. Right. Instead, some of these kids that are...
I gotta ask you, because I did a blog post. Someone told me that an Oakland rapper, I can't say the name obviously, was involved in this kind of activity as a John.
Right.
Is part of this the hip-hop community in Oakland? Is part of it, someone else said it's a replacement for drug crimes. Is that the case? What's going on culturally?
Those are very deep social questions.
Right, absolutely. That produced this, if you think about it.
Right.
Arguably.
Right. So I wouldn't. I think it would be unfair for Captain in this area to say that it's wrapped up with rap music or anything of that nature. I will say though that the money involved in this business.
And I like rap. Just to get that out there.
Yes. It is lucrative. So where some of these pimps have traditionally maybe have been drug dealers, they're saying, well, it's too high exposure, less return. Let me get into this business of pimping and getting these kids that are often runaways and vulnerable and looking for love and looking for some attention.
Right.
So they fill that gap, if you will, and that's troubling.
Wow. Officer, hey, we're going to come into you again. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Basically, where we're standing is what some call East 14th, what's called International Boulevard, and this area along here, as you heard, where it's like the track is, it's been a hot spot for this kind of activity of underage prostitution. Nola Brantley, you're the executive director of Missy.org. Tell my viewers how Missy got started, and I talked to people about this problem too.
Yeah, so Missy got started as a direct response to a really visible and horrific exploitation of children in the commercial sex industry all over the city of Oakland, but also throughout our nation. And so that really was the birth of Missy, was seeing this problem, looking for a way to respond to it, and realizing that it was going to take more than just a program or a piece of something, that we needed to create an organization, an entity that can be a steward over this issue, that can fight for policy, and that can also, and most importantly, serve this population.
I'm going to ask you the same question I asked the officer. How did Oakland come to this?
I think any city that has a similar geographic makeup to Oakland has come to this. So you have an overpopulation of foster care youth and group home youth. You have an overpopulation of people living at or below the poverty line. You have a high homicide rate, and you don't have the level of understanding or empathy from enough people in the city to understand that these are children and that any prostitute, regardless of their age, on average, was victimized starting in their childhood.
So this has been going on since 2003. I read that the FBI said that Oakland was a hotspot.
Yes, it still is.
And this is 2011.
Right.
Wow.
And I'm gonna tell you, like I'm gonna tell anybody else, don't want to point fingers because everyone's doing the best job that they can do. If we have a problem in a city in 03 and we still have it in 11, then something ain't being done about it. It won't happen where it won't be allowed.
Is there a time to start pointing fingers?
I don't think there ever is, because I think that we're all responsible. The same way we can say, oh well, the law enforcement agencies in this city should have taken care of it. I could say, well, we as citizens should have made them take care of it by now. Right. Are we going to keep walking past 13-year-olds and seeing them being bought and sold and waiting for the police or waiting for a social worker or waiting for anybody to do anything about it? We have to respond. We have to be moved into action now.
How can people get involved?
So in order to get involved in Missy, they can definitely go on our website, www.missy.org, or contact our organization here in the city of Oakland. We have a great volunteer program with some wonderful, wonderful volunteers and things happening. If they want to get involved in the efforts around human trafficking as a more broad subject, they can also contact Missy and we can give them some information on how to do that, or just go online. Start Googling human trafficking organizations, start Googling human trafficking advocacy. You know, if you want to get involved, where there's a will, there's a way. Yep. I don't need to give you any special instructions. If you want to get involved with Missy, then come see us. Other than that, if you want to get involved, just do it.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. We've known each other for a long time. There was a time when we really got...
A year or two.
Well, actually, but, someone told me that just over here, they saw a prostitute this morning. We used to get involved in Oakland. Where did we change to how do we get to this point where this is growing?
Actually, I think we're holding it in line. I think there was a lot more prostitution in Oakland when I was first elected 8 years ago. Many more streets. I think, unfortunately, some of it's now gone off the streets and online. And so we have a whole undercover group that just answers internet ads, right? And busts people that way. What I think has changed is that people are particularly taking up the issue of the child prostitution. I think, a lot of us older women, it's a different story, but what became pretty evident is that this area in particular has become well known for child prostitution, and we've been able to get it down. It used to be much more visible. Used to be many more girls all times a day. Now we're getting it down a little bit, but it doesn't mean even if it disappears off the street that it's done with it. The police tell me they're busting as many people for the internet at motels as they are on the street here. So it is. Whenever there's that much money to be made, it's not something that's going to go away easily. And so that's why the Oakland Police Department now works regionally. When we picked up these girls, as many as a third of the girls could be working a circuit. Their pimps could be taking them San Francisco one night, Richmond the next, Oakland, Bakersfield, all the way to LA and Las Vegas and back. They run a circuit.
And more of us can get involved by mentoring.
I think you can support groups like Missy and the other groups that help young women find alternatives. We find that in our program, now that we treat them more like victims, in our diversion program, at least a third of the girls would take alternatives in housing and jobs if they could get out of the life. And that's not bad on the first arrest.
No. Thank you for your time. Okay. There's a guy who doesn't want to be on camera who says that his friend got shot for talking on camera, right? Is that what you heard?
You're kidding, really?
That's what he said. So, yeah. So, it's a bad problem around here.
Yeah.
The mayor's talking over here.
Yep, okay.
Cool. All right.
Now we still have we can do that. So, even if you don't always see people here in the 20s or up at High Street on International Boulevard, we know that this is a really big business. It's a really dirty business. The police, where's Captain Trace? Right here. The police. This is happening in every city. It's happening in every city. The difference is here. We refuse to ignore it. We refuse to let it be underground. We're going to take it on. So thank you very much.
Particularly working at Haven and at Madison, and the principals each there have identified maybe 20, 30 kids who really need a little extra help.